She was like, "This will help with your head."
I need that medication. What's it called? I need it.
Your head's fine. You got a skinny head.
No, it's a large noggin.
He has a
so
large
I think
noggin.
it's all proportioned with your face.
It's like an ice cream cone, you know?
Is that
what? For Kevin, that's great.
For me,
it
that's the
comes down,
ultimate
but then it
compliment.
goes up, you know, like
Yeah.
but like a two-scooper.
You do make the mention that there is nothing to do. Like people I remember when Jonah Hill lost a bunch of weight originally, he still had kind of big Jonah Hill head. There's nothing you can do to sort of lessen your
now
head.
we know there's a pill.
Well, that's what you're saying.
Well, I mean,
I need
it's
the
a
name of it.
thyroid medication.
I need
but-
to lessen my head.
I know. I wish I had it before the special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I think you look good. I mean, that was the thing. I was like, he's doing this for comedy. He looks great.
It was a snazzy
I have
suit.
pictures. I'll show you a picture when I was much fatter.
This
but
works
you keep
really
the-
well on the radio.
Let me tell you how good this is going to work on radio, guys. Who out there is driving and wants to see a picture of my big fat head?
We'll tweet it at Kevin.
I thought I was watching it. I was like, this is like this. He's just making this up.
Yeah,
He's never,
that was when I.
He was much bigger.
I was much bigger.
But you
There
were
it is.
still doing MMA while that.
No,
weight?
that's when I started jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you cut to, hey, jiu-jitsu made me lose
Well,
weight.
yeah, lost weight there. Wait, would you beat Kevin James?
No, I've never. I heard Kevin James is a beast.
That's what I've heard.
I've heard he's a beast, dude.
Do you want to challenge him here?
No, no, because I also heard he's not very nice when he rolls with you.
Oh, really?
He's
Like
very-
he doesn't hold any punches back.
No, he
is it?
does not. And
Wow.
I'm a jiu-jitsu guy now. I mean, I'm not boxing anymore. I'm not trying to get punched in the face anymore. So.
Who's your MMA guy? Who do you?
I've rolled with Joe Rogan before.
Yeah.
And it's like rolling with a gorilla.
Yeah.
It's literally like rolling with a silverback.
The monster.
And he's a black belt and I'm a blue belt. So there's a disparity.
How much difference is that?
I'm a blue belt with some stripes, so I'm like about 2.5 belts behind him.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
But I also am about 17 years behind him, so, as far as experience goes.
Do you then eat elk after?
I have asked him for elk. He's
Yeah.
promised me
DMT.
elk, and he's not...
He has promised me elk.
He's promised me
That's
elk.
He's
my
promised
favorite
me elk. He
sentence.
says, I've got a freezer full. Come and grab my meat. And I said, I don't know if this is elk or not.
All right, Russell Peters is in the studio with us. Do we have
Why
time
are
for
you struggling with my name, Kevin?
It's a hard name.
You know, it's
My-
one
my-
of those really ethnic names.
my word? My word box isn't working. Whatever you call that. Do we have
You
time
wanna
for
call me
60
Hot
seconds?
Carl?
Yeah,
that's
please.
I'll call you Hot Carl.
Thank
if you
you.
want. Yeah.
We're going to do something called 60 seconds. Just
Okay.
top of mind,
I
whatever.
call that sex.
Oh, sorry. If you could join the cast of any TV show, past or present, which would you choose?
Good times.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
It is beautiful.
Do you think it's weird that Tarzan has no beard?
It is strange.
If animals could talk, which one would be the biggest a-hole?
Probably a chimpanzee.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
I probably would want to be that chimpanzee.
Creepiest thing you could say to a stranger that you pass in the street?
60 seconds is about my sex life.
Twizzlers or Red Vines?
Twizzlers.
Dog kisses on the mouth, yes or no?
Hell to them. No.
What was your first job?
KFC.
Oh,
Wow.
Nice.
Excellent. You can only bring one album to a deserted island. Which one?
Can it be like a greatest hits?
Sure.
Steely Dan's greatest hits.
Did not
Oh,
expect a Steely
wow.
Dan
Not
answer.
that at all,
Nope,
no.
nope.
Okay. You can only eat one food for the rest of your life. What would it
Pizza.
be? Really?
Pizza's a great
okay.
choice, yeah.
Would you rather be friends with a guy named Chuck or a guy named Guy?
Chuck.
Same.
Good answer. Good answer.
The only
have
one
two,
that's-
I have two Chucks in my life.
Yeah.
You do?
Chuck Zito and Chuck Liddell. They're both.
There you go.
Two
you
guys
go.
again that could beat my ass.
Right?
This
Well,
is
they can
insane.
beat mine too.
Oh, man. Oh,
Don't
boy.
feel bad.
All right.
Hot.
Check out
Thank
the
you. I
He
definitely
goes by
go by
hot.
that, not Carl. Yes.
check out the comedy special. It's Russell Peters Deported. It's on Amazon Prime right now, and then he's going to be playing Thursday, February 20th, 21st, and 22nd locally at the Brea Improv. So
Brea
you can
Improv.
check him out there.
Nice.
Russell, thanks for coming in. We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
thanks,
you.
guys. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Kevin in the Morning with Ali and Jensen. KROQ.
K-Rock. The Kobe thing is pretty much all anyone can talk
Yeah.
or think or talk
Hard
about.
to do anything else.
Matt Money Smith joins us now. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, what's happening, Kev? Hey, Ali. Hey, Jensen.
Hey,
What years did you do the Lakers, the pregame, the halftime?
I did 05 to 09.
05 to 09.
got it.
Yeah, so I did the first, I was kind of part of that, sort of redemption tour for Kobe, right? And it culminated with the trip to the finals in 08. They lost to the Celtics, went right back in 09 and won. And my last, basically, my last duty as a Laker radio host was interviewing Kobe about 90 minutes after he won that title, fulfilled all of his media obligations, And I think it just kind of spoke to, how good he was with the media, that everyone was telling him, come on, let's get out of here, get back to the hotel. There's a huge party, with everybody waiting for us. And he, on his own volition, came out and just kind of sat and said, no, I got to do Laker line with Matt, and, kind of talk to all the people, because I think he used to listen on the way home. And people were trying to pull him away for probably like 15 minutes. And I'd say probably 10, 15 minutes, he just sat and chatted about what it meant and how important this championship was, and kind of how much he appreciated the fans, because that was sort of, the fans' connection to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And that was, my last bit of interaction with him as an official, sort of Lakers employee.
Matt, what is it you think this city, what is it that makes it so devastating? Because obviously having these family members, but there is something different about Kobe Bryant. There's something that defines our city beyond basketball. We grew up with him, obviously, coming out of high school straight to the Lakers and never leaving our team. But what is it? What is the specialness?
I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think you just said it, Jensen. The city raised him. When he was drafted, he was 17. His parents had to co-sign the contract because he wasn't an adult yet. So I think that's why, you raise a child, and anybody that's a parent knows, you take them for their greats and for their flaws, for the highs and the lows. And boy, did Kobe have a lot of those.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster. And I think that's why the city, had that special relationship with him is we lived through those lows. And, those ardent Kobe supporters, he became a bit of a polarizing figure, just defended him relentlessly like he was their child.
Yeah.
And I think to see him, go from a 17-year-old to a 41-year-old with 4 kids and finish his Laker career, and now, kind of get out in the open as a parent. Anybody that's on that travel circuit would see him out at the volleyball games, at the basketball games, and I think that's kind of what made him relatable, right? Is he didn't leave, he didn't hide. He was out there. And you would always hear, oh yeah, I was at whatever, Momentous, and I saw Kobe out there. He was out there with his daughter watching volleyball. And I think that's kind of just became an Angelino, and I think everybody was excited about that prospect moving forward.
Yeah.
What do you think most people don't realize about Kobe? Because I've never, had anyone that knows him. Is there anything?
Well, I didn't really know. Yeah, I didn't know him that well. I had a professional relationship with him, but I think what was different about him, and there are other athletes out there. Obviously the Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods comparisons are apt, but I think it's because so often, and I think this goes for anyone, whatever sort of whatever your profession is, if you're very talented at it, oftentimes you just lean on that talent. Or you lean on the opportunity, and you're content with what it gives you. But Kobe was never content. He was one of the most talented basketball players to have ever walked this earth, and yet he worked as though he had to fight for every minute to stay in the NBA. And I think that's so rare, right, to have that sort of determination. Like, hey, I'm better than everybody, or 99.9%.
Yeah, he was
of
gifted.
the people that do
He was
what I do.
gifted just when he stepped on the court.
Yeah.
Right, but he just busted his ass harder than anyone. And it's like, hey, not only am I better than you, but I'm outwork you. And that, that does not happen a lot. Too often you hear stories about people that, oh boy, can you only imagine if he would have applied himself, or if he would have worked harder, if he would have stayed in shape, or if he would have focused more, if he would have not done this off the court.
Yeah.
Kobe was completely committed to winning every single title and every single individual accolade every single year. And I think that's what kind of rubbed some people the wrong way, is it was that commitment. And that just sort of, assassin-like approach that some people were uncomfortable with. And I think it's almost what made him, more relatable.
The video that's going around right now is of him walking off the court with a blown Achilles. As someone who's around basketball and sports a lot, how impossible is that? I watch it and I don't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think it's I think it just spoke to he knew that if he didn't take those free throws, he wasn't going to be able to come back in the game. And I think part of it was denial, right? Like, oh no, if I just get to the free, and that's just how he operated, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're down 15 and there's 30 seconds left, and he's thinking, okay, well, if I make a 3 and steal, we'll win this game. And I think that just spoke to that. Like, well, if I don't take these free throws, I can't come back into the game. And if I can't come back into the game, then maybe I'm going to walk off and they're going to tell me I got a torn Achilles, and that means I'm not going to play in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And I think it was just kind of him trying to fight what he knew was going on in his body, and like, no, I'm going to stay. And finally, I think Gary Vee came over and said, hey man, we got to go.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, that's just sort of heart of a champion. Hey, no one's going to help me off. I'm going to walk off, as much pain as this is, I'm just going to walk off the court and probably accepting his fate.
Yeah.
What did you know about Gigi, Matt? What did you know about? I mean, it seems that people talk about her being possible WNBA down the road or whatever.
Yeah, I just know what you know. I never really had a chance to spend much time. All I'll say is like the extent of my interaction there is just seeing him a couple times. My middle daughter played volleyball on the travel circuit, and his oldest daughter plays. And when they played Sage Hills, he was there cheering like any dad. Not walking the hallways, not hiding from people, not looking at his phone, but just sitting there and getting excited about points and her playing. And that's kind of from everybody I've heard that's come across him and seen him out. That's how committed he was to those kids. That he wasn't just gonna throw a check at it, hire a coach, and say, all right, well, here you go, good luck. He was in the middle of. I mean, he started these. The Mamba Academy thing is for people. I think it's being mentioned because that's where they were headed to. When the helicopter crashed, but he started a volleyball club. He started a basketball club for his kids. Like, hey, if you want to do this, all right, well, let's do it, and we'll do it together. And I'll start a team, and you find your friends. And, I'll take on a lot of the expenses, and we'll try to make it the best, darn girls volleyball and girls basketball academy in the world. And let's go dominate like I did. And I think that just kind of speaks to what kind of, again, from the outside and just from second and third hand, what kind of parent he was.
Talk about, as a parent, you have daughters? I do.
3, yeah.
I can't imagine being able to go on.
No, and that's, the sad thing is, and I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way, but when I got the news, it was the first thing that went through my mind was, oh my gosh, I remember these Sunday mornings and going to these tournaments. And the first thing that I kind of thought of was, I hope it's not kids. Yeah. It's a multiplier for the tragedy, that you have all these kids on there that were going to one of these games that, any parent that has kids playing sports knows, Saturdays and Sundays, they used to be for us waking up and drinking beers and watching football. And when you have kids and you want to be involved and you want to be part of their lives in that world, that's what you do from 6 a.m. until 3 or 4 p.m. You're in these giant gyms where you can't even hear yourself think. It's just whistles and screams and parents yelling and it just I don't know. I just had this terrible pit in my stomach thinking that that's what it was, that there were kids on that plane, that helicopter.
Feeling for Vanessa, obviously, too, right? I mean, Vanessa has not had it easy. Yeah.
No. I mean, you've got 3 sisters, a 7-month-old that'll never know her father, and a wife that Look, Kobe was rough, man. He was rough around the edges when he played, and I think you started to see it soften. You kind of get rid of that competitiveness. And I think this, Bill Plaschke wrote a great column. He was able to get him right before LeBron passed him in points on Saturday. And, it was so not Kobe to hear him say, man, I'm good. LeBron's going to pass me, and he's a Laker now, and he's not part of the family. And he even acknowledged, he's like, look, I've kind of realized that part of me's gone, and it was like he was almost at peace with it for someone who was never at peace with it. Yeah. If you have there was the tiniest slight shot his direction, he was coming back with haymakers. And I think to see him acknowledge, hey, this guy is one of the greatest, and he's going to go down as one of the greatest, and I want him to hang those banners, and I want him to pass me, and I want him to do great things because he's not part of the Laker family and will be part of that. It's just not Kobe. Yeah. And I don't think, and I want to believe, and I do believe, I think just because we all change when we become parents and we get into the competitive sports world with our kids, you do kind of recognize, hey, I just want everyone to succeed. I don't care. These are kids out there, and I want them to do great things, regardless of what team or what sport, or who they're playing for. It's just there's something about sports that brings us, to not to try to get too preachy or sound stupid, but I think
it does mean a lot
to recognize. I think maybe just, hey, sports is something that brings people together. Why use it to create divisions when you don't need to? You don't have to be Team LeBron or Team Kobe. You can just be Team Lakers, and let's just kind of get behind the team as a city, no matter who's wearing the jersey.
You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Money Smith, also the Petros and Money Show on AM 570. What are you doing today, Money?
Today, well, I think today is, it's sad because, Justin Turner is one of the great Angelinos, born and raised here, a great Dodger, captain of the Dodgers, even though they don't name him as the official captain. He's the leader of that team, and he's got his own foundation, and he's built 2 houses, and he gets homeless vets off the streets. He's got a women's house and a man's house, and today's his big golf tournament. and he raises a bunch of money every year. He sponsors our Veterans Radiothon, and I think this year we did almost $200,000.
Wow.
And this is another part of that. And I think it just speaks to kind of, what athletes mean in this city. And, Justin's part of that. And